Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge, day number 9. This is the final day. I'm sad. I'm sure many of you are sad too, but don't fret because we do have another creative challenge starting next Monday, just in a few days. So, just a few days break, have a great weekend, relax a little bit, maybe do some designing, possibly. I know I'll be doing designing, but I hope you're all doing well. I just realized I don't have my music on, so just give me 1 second. I'm going to crank that music up. Here we go. Pump up the volume, and we've now got some music, hopefully. So a big good morning, afternoon, or evening to everyone joining me live here on Behance this morning, including Lena and Joe and Cars and designer Sohag, possibly, Kristen, Noor, and Kushbu. I love that name. That's a great name. Kushbu. Love it. Richard and Garrett and Cindy. Cindy was asking who is heading up the next challenge on Monday. I'm actually not 100% sure. Maybe it'll be a surprise. But, all of our hosts are fantastic, whether it's me, or Andrea, or Melody, or who knows who else we might have hosting in the future. But let me know if you are tuning in, where you're tuning in from. We've also got Frank in the house and Joss, one of our newest moderators in Discord. Thank you everyone for joining me live here on Behance this morning. So, we're gonna wrap things up. And usually the last day is fairly chill, a little bit slow. We don't have many streams in the morning. We do have a stream right after this. We've got possibly Talon. Last time I said Talon and it wasn't Talon. So we have somebody, maybe Talon, maybe, I don't know, somebody's coming up after me. I should find these things out with some more XD goodness. Designing in XD, it's always a good time, no matter who hosts that show. It's always nice to see insights from people who are actually working on the XD product. They can maybe give you some sneaks from time to time. I'm not saying they will, but we've got a lot coming up. So definitely stick around for that. Kristen's from LA. We've got Paco from Sam Anderson. Oh, Sam will be hosting. Oh, I love that. That's cool. Sam's a great designer. He started out as an intern at Adobe, and now he's a full-on designer on the XD team. That'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be in San Francisco next week hosting Adobe Live from Wednesday to Friday, I believe. So that'll be fun. You'll see me, even though I won't be hosting, but Sam will be there hosting on Monday. That'll be cool. Anissa is in the house. I believe Anissa's also from Los Angeles. And we've got Joe from Port Harcourt. No idea where that is, but I believe you. All right, so let's go ahead and just dive into things. We're gonna hop over to my desktop. If you're just joining us for whatever reason, we've been doing this for about 2 weeks, and this is the landing page, behance.net/challenge/XD. And even though this is the last day of these 2 last weeks of challenges, we have another one coming up on Monday with surprise host Sam Anderson. So definitely stay tuned for that. He's also got a great accent. So here's some information about the Daily Creative Challenge, whether you're brand new or just joining us. So we've got every day you're going to receive a new challenge, and then you're going to join us in our community chat, which is powered by Discord, which I'll show you in a second. And Kashish is asking, how do you intern at Adobe? Well, I believe every quarter, every few months, we accept new applications for interns. There's an interns page on the Adobe website. If you Google it, you'll probably find it. And we've had quite a few interns graduate to employees. It's a pretty good program. And of course, it's a paid program. We pay all of our interns. Good stuff. So every single day at 11:30, you're going to watch. In this case, it would be me, but starting next week, it'll be Sam. At 11:30 Pacific time, I did see something about. Oh no, so 12 o'clock today will be with Alex. I believe he works on the prototyping team. All right, I'm all over the place today. So let me keep going. And then you're going to finally share your work on either Behance or Discord, or both, using the keyword XD Daily Challenge. If I hop over here to Discord, we have over 11,000, nearing and 12,000 designers on Discord, and all of you have been posting your amazing work here in the chat. There's a great design feedback section, and I do have a few to take a look at. I haven't looked at very many of them, but I opened a few links. So I'm going to take a look and give you some very quick feedback on what I'm seeing. And then we've got career advice. This is new. I think Gus just added that one. We've got introductions and chat, ask questions. A lot of great stuff in Discord. All right, very quickly to wrap up what we've been tackling over the last 2 weeks. Again, this was one of our progressive challenges where we took a case study and we looked at some poor examples of websites and mobile screens and that sort of thing, and we tried to expand on it and make it a little bit better. So we did a landing page refresh with search and navigation. We tackled some marketing priorities. We tackled a mobile search screen, mobile home screen, a booking experience, trip notifications, and then today we are kind of going over some publishing tips and tricks. And then down here, you can also access past challenges. And starting next week, if you do want to go back and access this challenge, you'll be able to do that right about here. And my mouse, my cursor just froze. Give me one sec. Connection lost. That's not nice. Hold on. There we go. I'm back. All right. So let me very quickly, before I hop into Adobe XD, look at some challenges that came in over the last 2 weeks. And this one is from Edita. If I mispronounce anyone's name, I do apologize. So this one stood out to me because I love the way she kind of started to put together this Behance project. And she really took time to kind of section everything out. We got the design system at the top, the typography, and then we have some colors over here, some logos. Possibly she'll add some components and little elements, UI elements from here and there. And then she's broken them down into challenge day 1. She also included some of the information that we included inside of the template, like what to avoid. So here's challenge day 1, challenge day 2. She's got these little areas where she kind of points out what each thing is, which is really nice. Day 3, day 4, and so on and so forth. She's even got some mock-ups of what it looks like on an actual device, which is really nice. So great job, Edita. This one is from Stefan. And again, I love the way he kind of started to put together a little bit of a design system and then broke out. I would say that the numbers look a little bit too small. I'm gonna try to throw in some constructive feedback when things do stand out to me as I'm kind of scrolling very quickly through some of this stuff. But overall, things are looking really nice. I love the way that this is laid out on the Behance page. He's got a video in here. Really cool. This one over here is from Lisa. Also put together this really nice landing page. I will say that I'm just kind of looking at some of the text. For something like this, probably give a little bit more breathing room, maybe reduce the size of that text or increase the size of that button just a touch. For something like this, if there's an icon in one of them, maybe be consistent and have an icon in the other one as well. I would say the same thing for breathing room up here. This might be a little bit too large, so shrink that down. Let that logo and menu little hamburger icon breathe just a little bit. But again, I love mock-ups. Whenever you're putting designs within prototypes, looks really nice. Got some videos. Good stuff. And then finally, we've got, I believe this was Megan, who is in the chat right now. She also put together this nice design system at the top. And then, little prototype. Very cool. You can actually launch the prototype. And that's one of the cool things I'll show you today is that you can, when you post for review, you can also grab a link and paste it directly on Behance so people can click on it and interact with your working prototype with all your animations and that sort of thing directly from the browser, which is really nice. Cool. All right. Very nice. Got some hot deals at the bottom. I love the way this is kind of staggered and laid out, which looks really nice. Greg, welcome. You are not late. You are just in time. All right. And I think I also have 2 over here that I want to check out. This one is from Cataploon, who posted this on Discord. It's a little bit small, but let me try and enlarge it just a touch. And it's a little bit small, but it really stood out to me because I love the colors. I would say probably steer away, even though I love background blurs, steer away from it on this here. The background blur is a little bit distracting, but I love the colors, the browns and the oranges. It really kind of says camping to me, which is nice. And this is from Nishal, who put together this great little video showing his mobile app. And he's also got a little bit of a splash screen. That was super cool. Alrighty. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into Adobe XD, take a look at what we've done so far over the last 2 weeks, and then we're going to start publishing this thing and maybe create a little bit of a Behance project. We won't have time to go crazy like some of you have gone, but you know, we'll try our best. So again, last week we started with a splash screen, and it was a very simple splash screen. Just a full width image, a little bit of a navigation bar at the top. We've got a search bar and some text. Nothing too crazy, but it's there. It does its job for now. But we started to really think about what the user experience is going to be on a website like this. A user might come to this website and really want to very quickly find a destination, choose when they're going to be coming and going, and then book their travel, right? And looking at this, it doesn't really allow you to do that. So we expanded on the landing page. We tackled the navigation experience a little bit to add more items at the top. We also broke things out a touch, so there's a secondary navigation right above it. And then the search bar, we added a destination picker, a calendar, which you can use for an overlay, how many people might be coming, and then a button as well. Now down here, we tackled some marketing. So we added some cards using repeat grids. We also explored using the Google Sheets plugin, which is one of my favorite plugins. And if you want to learn more about that, I have a video on YouTube and also letsxd.com. There's you'll be able to learn all about the Google Sheets plugin. But we were able to very quickly add these little cards of all these magical made-up planets that you can travel to. And then on week 2, we started with the mobile design. So we went from desktop to mobile, and we used some components to make that process a little bit easier. And I did make some tweaks overnight. So let me show you where we're at right now. This is the splash screen. So it's a little bit of a plane or spaceship window that transitions into a login experience where you can sign in, or you can register, or if you forgot your password, you can definitely do that. And I did add a little bit more animation. The logo beside Traveler, if you look very closely, it does animate just a little bit. And I was able to do that just using, if I just zoom in here, if I just grab this, I was just basically playing around with the dashes and gaps. And when you make those lines smaller and then big again, it animates. So it's super cool. You can do some really interesting things if you start thinking outside of the box with Adobe XD. And then we have the home page. And this is the home page here. You can scroll down, you can click, and then you have a little bit of an information here where you can very quickly book your travel. And then on Wednesday, I believe, we started tackling the booking experience. So here we have this booking experience. Now I did create a timed transition. So if I go into prototype mode, I was able to select the actual artboard and create a time transition because I wanted to post this on Dribbble. So what I was able to do is just create a time transition that just goes through the animation process, showing the calendar, which is masked inside that little shape, and then confirmation. So I had a little bit of fun with this last night, and I would really encourage you, if you are continuing on with this project after today, have some fun with it. Do things like this. Do things crazy outside of the box. It might be a little bit difficult for our developers to code this in particular. Not impossible though. But if you're not actually making it for development, you're just doing it for fun, have fun with it, right? We have our notification panel over here, and there we go. So we're at the point where we want to start publishing. We want to get some feedback and review. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure everything is wired up. So let's tackle the mobile screen first. So I'm going to hop into prototype mode, and this I want as my home screen. So I'm going to make sure to press that button there. That'll tell XD that when you're uploading stuff for review, that's where it's going to start. So I'm going to start here. It is timed, so it goes there and it goes there. And maybe I want, when you press sign in, right? This button will go directly to our home screen. So I'm going to do that. We'll do a tap trigger. We'll do a simple transition. We don't have to do too much auto animate for this one, and we'll have it slide over to the left. Or you know what? Let's have it slide up. That'll be fun. We'll do ease in and out and 0.4 seconds. Let's quickly see what that looks like. Okay, that might work. Let's see that one more time. That could work. All right, we'll stick with that. Now from this, we might want, when someone clicks on the this card here, I already have that set up. So they're gonna go to this artboard right over here. And let's go ahead and, for now, take off these time triggers. Just so that, and actually what I can do, let me actually show you a new trick. So I have all these time triggers set up going from artboard to artboard, and I want to remove them very quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and select all the artboards with the time triggers. And over here to the right, I'm going to change the destination to none, and that'll automatically remove all the time triggers for those artboards. So now we do have our drag trigger set up that I showed you yesterday, or maybe we don't. Maybe I removed it. I'm going to drag this over here, And this is going to be a drag trigger, which is going to automatically default to auto animate. Perfect. We might want to click on the calendar. So it's going to go to this screen. In this case, we don't want drag, we want tap. So it's going to be auto animate, ease in and out. Let's go for 0.6 seconds. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. And then we might want to click on the 15th. So I'll just dive in here, find the 15th, there it is, and drag this over to this artboard. And because we're not doing any sort of animation on this one, we're gonna go for a tap trigger and simply a transition with a cut, which is none. So Megan's asking, how would you change the artboard for the home screen if you already pre-selected one? Yeah, all you have to do is just go to any artboard and they'll have a little home icon, and you just click on the home icon to set your home screen. I think that answers your question. If not, just let me know. Okay, that one's done. So I'm going to click on the calendar. Whoops. I'm going to click on the calendar. This will take us to this artboard, and we'll have a little bit of a, let's go for auto animate one more time. Perfect. And then we're going to want to click on this button to activate the actual animation. Auto animate, ease in and out. We'll go, let's say 0.4 seconds. What does that look like? That's not too bad. Maybe a little bit slower, but we'll see. And then we'll want a time transition going here. Ooh, time transition, there we go. 0 seconds, let's see what that looks like. Play, and a little bit too fast. Let's go a little bit slower, 0.8 seconds possibly. And perfect. All right, so now that we have all the prototype wires set up, we actually want to start publishing this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to the share button at the very top. I'm going to press that, and I'm going to go share for review. This will allow me to grab my prototype, publish it to the web, and I'll be able to share this link around. So I do have one already set up. I do want to allow comments so that people can review this, give me feedback, and I can make some changes. Hotspot hints are good just in case you don't know exactly where you have to click or drag or whatever, and I'll show you that in a second. And then navigation controls, if I do want to very quickly jump back and forth between artboards, I can do that. Or if I'm working on user testing and I don't want people to be able to do that, I can definitely turn that off. All right. Oh, Megan, make sure you are in prototype mode, otherwise you won't see the little home icon at the top left. So I'm going to go ahead and update this. Boop. That was for you, Joe. I saw that comment. So it's going to basically take all these artboards, all the images, everything, publish those directly to the cloud. And I'm going to, in a second, see some links at the bottom. There we go. So we've got some links. We've got our link to open it in a browser. We also have the embed code, which I'll show you how that works in a moment. So go ahead and press that. It's going to open it directly in my browser, and just like on the desktop, you'll be able to interact with this. And here it goes. So the auto animate will kick off. And I am streaming right now, so my computer is being used by a ton of different things, so it's a little bit laggy, but it shouldn't be too laggy for you. Sign in, I'll swipe up, I can scroll down, click on this little guy, drag this up. It looks pretty good. Open the calendar, choose 15, perfect, and then pew, take off. Perfect. So now at this point, let's say I'm sharing this with somebody and they want to give me some feedback. So let me go ahead and go back to the home screen. Let's go to this screen here, and maybe they want some of these hearts to be filled in. Well, one cool thing is they're able to place a pin. So I can just drag out a pin just like this and maybe place it right around the heart area. And that person might leave me a feedback. Please fill in this heart, right? I'm gonna submit it to myself, and they will be able to, I'll be able to see that feedback. It'll come in through a Creative Cloud notification, and once I get around to it, I can re-upload and update that prototype, and I'll be able to hopefully satisfy my client. Now, at this point, there's a few things you can do. You can also publish for development. So if we get to the point where we're really happy with how things are looking and our clients are happy, they might want some assets ready for them. So let me go ahead and mark some assets for export. Now you're going to notice that if I go into design mode, some of the images or all of the images that you import into XD are pre-marked for export. And that's because we've heard from developers and designers that any images that they're using in their project, developers typically want. So it's a lot easier to just pre-mark those. But things like icons or form fields, those you'll have to go in and manually. So let's say I wanted this sign-in button, right, to be marked for export. I can just click on that, and I can either do it right here on the right, boop. Or there's a little button right here that I can also press that will mark it or unmark it for export. Sosa is asking, how long did it take you to learn how to animate? Not too long, because XD makes it pretty simple. You just have to design the two artboards that will animate between each other. So it's really about designing, and then there's some tips and tricks to learn along the way, but auto animate is pretty intuitive. So I'm going to mark a few of these things for export. I might want this rocket button possibly for export. Rocket, there we go. Mark for export. Maybe this little icon over here. Perfect. Oh yeah, I did import that one, so that was marked. Perfect. Mark this for export. That looks good. Maybe I'll make sure Beardy McBeardface is marked. He is. Everything looks good. All right. So now we can publish for development. And just like I did for review, I'm going to go to Share for Development. I'm going to make sure to include all my assets for download. Now, in this case, there are quite a few assets that I've marked for my developers. I will go ahead and publish this. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. You can also choose what you're publishing for. So if you're only publishing your mobile prototype or your web prototype, you might want to go for iOS or Android. And I'm going to go ahead and create the link. Now it's going to take before we wrap things up. Let me go ahead and, oh, I'm spinning. It's uploading. It's uploading a lot of stuff. Whoa, where'd it go? Okay. So if you wanted to start exporting some of these artboards to use on Behance or use on your personal projects or websites or Dribbble or whatever it might be, here's what you can do. You can just grab an artboard like this. You can grab this one. Maybe I'll want to grab this one as well. So I held down Shift and clicked on them. And then within the Layers panel, I can right click and then choose Export Selected. And that will allow me to export these artboards in many formats, including JPEG, PNG, SVGs if they are vector, or PDFs. I'm going to choose JPEG. We'll have it, I'll drop it to about 80% quality just so it's not a huge file. It shouldn't be too big, but just to save a little bit of file. And then I'm going to, Frank is asking about weird static audio. Let me know if my audio is acting up a little bit. I'll look into it. And I'm going to export. Oh, someone is saying, yes, there's static audio. I will definitely look into that and hopefully fix that. Brittany's also experiencing some static. Well, I apologize. So once these are exported, what you're able to do is hop over to Behance. Let me go over here. I'm gonna go ahead and create a project. And then you can just very quickly add some files. Just like this. I'm gonna go to export and just drop in an image. Just like that. I can make it a little bit smaller, or I can make it full width if I wanted to. Oh, Franks has asked your last name. I apologize. I'm sorry, Rockwood. And then finally, one more thing I want to show you is back in Adobe XD, under the, oh, it's still publishing. So eventually I'll be able to grab the embed code and then pop that on Behance as well. But in the meantime, let me also export some of these colors, maybe the icons. I'm going to grab these two artboards. I'm going to right click. Export selected. Just pop these in here. Perfect. Back on Behance. If I hover my mouse over here, I can insert it either above or below, and then just grab the new. I can grab both of these, pop them in. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now we do have a little bit of spacing, so you can go ahead and go into Edit Styles and Layout. Then you can really start adjusting the spacing. You can make things really nice and tight so that the color kind of blends in really nicely. You can add some additional header spacing if you wanted to at the top. You can add dividers, backgrounds. You can do a lot of different things to really get your Behance projects looking really nice. Megan's asking, are there size requirements for Behance? Sometimes my presentations are blurry. I believe there are. If you upload them too small, somewhere around like 600, they'll probably be a little bit blurry if you are expanding it full screen. I think it's around like 1600 or 1400 to 1600 is the ideal width if you do want full screen. But we'll leave it right about there. And then, you know, obviously I would go through and add some more titles, add some more text, very similar to how Adita did over here. She really broke it down. And this is just basically an image, which you can create in Adobe XD. You don't have to do it on Behance. Create an image, upload it, and that sort of thing. So let me go just very quickly to see if this is finished yet. It's not. But if you go to letsxd.com, you can learn how to share for development as well. So that'll just wrap it up. Today blew by very quickly. Stick around. We have Alex coming up with designing in XD, and on Monday we have a new Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge coming. Who knows what they're going to be covering? It's going to be a good time. So thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out over the last 2 weeks. It's always sad when these things end, but you know, everything has to come to an end. So thanks again, everyone, and I will see you all next time.